So, today we will read Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2nd, and verse number is 29. So, let us chant the shloka. You can repeat if you want. Ascharyavat pashyati kashchidenam.
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कच्चिदेनं
Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanya.
आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः
आश्चर्यवश्चैनम् अन्यः शृणोति
आश्चर्यवश्चैनमन्यः शृणोति
श्रुत्वापि वेदं न चैव कश्चित्
श्रुत्वापि येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनाम्
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कच्चिदेनं
आश्चर्यवद् वदति तथैव चान्यः
आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः
आश्चर्यवश्चैनम् अन्यः शृणोति
आश्चर्यवश्चैनमन्यः शृणोति
श्रुत्वापीनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्
श्रुत्वापि येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत् चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वापि येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्.
Thank you. So the translation and purport is: some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about it, cannot understand him at all. Purport. Sri Gita, since Gita Upanishad is largely based on the principles of Upanishads, it is not surprising to also find the passage in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.7. सर्वन्यापि बहुभिर्यो न लाभ्य शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवो यं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्तकुशलो अस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो अस्य ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः. The fact that atomic soul is within the body of gigantic animal, in the body of gigantic banyan tree, also in the microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of space, is certainly very amazing. Men with poor fund of knowledge and men who are not austere cannot understand the wonders of individual atomic spark of the spirit, even though it is explained by the great authority of knowledge, who imparted lessons even to Brahma, the first living being of the universe. Owing to gross material conception of things, most men in this age cannot imagine how such a small particle can become both so great and so small. So men look at the soul proper as men look at the soul proper as wonderful either by constitution or by description. Illusioned by the material energy, people are so engrossed in the subject matter of sense gratification that they have very little time to understand the question of self-understanding. Even though it is a fact that without this self-understanding, all activities result in ultimate defeat in the struggle of existence. Perhaps they have no idea that one must think of soul and thus make solution to the material miseries. Some people who are inclined to hear about the soul may be attending lectures in good association, but sometimes owing to ignorance, they are misguided by accepting the acceptance of super soul and the atomic soul as one without distinction of magnitude. It is very difficult to find a man who perfectly understands a position of the super soul, the atomic soul, and their respective functions and relationships, and all other major and minor results. And it is still more difficult to find a man who has actually derived full benefit from knowledge of the soul and who is able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. But if somehow other one is able to understand the subject matter of soul, then one's life is successful. The easiest process for understanding the subject matter of self, however, is to accept the statements of Bhagavad Gita spoken by the greatest authority, Lord Krishna, without being deviated by other theories. But it also requires a great deal of penance and sacrifice, either in this life or in the previous ones, before one is able to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna can, however, be known as such by the causeless mercy of pure devotee and by no other way. So here now, Krishna, in continuing his instructions to Arjuna, he already explained about the soul, characteristics of the soul, properties of the soul. He also explained, or he also give his opinion about Arjuna's concept of identifying with the body, and he also explained like how he's imagining himself as body and refusing to fight is not a correct approach. So he told him that in any case you should fight, or you should carry out your duty. So now Krishna is concluding his description about the soul in this and next couple of verses. So here the Ashcharya, the word is coming in first three lines, and it's a different functions, right? Some, the one function is hearing, by which we gather the knowledge, right? So Ashcharyavat Pashyati. So seeing is a knowledge. So one can see the soul as amazing. One can hear, and one can speak. So we have seen the size of the soul, right? It's so small, 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair. It's very small size, very minute, and um, it's very astonishing, right? How this such a small particle pervades all the body, and by this uh, consciousness, all pervading consciousness, the body is functioning. So, and like Srila Prabhupada mentions, it's in the body of big animals and big trees, but such a small particle, how it spreads all over the body. And if it is not there, then the body immediately finishes. So all this, just listening or hearing about it is, uh, for a knowledgeable person also, it is uh, very surprising and often difficult to believe also sometimes. So even if people hear about the soul, even if you tell people you are not body, you are soul, many times people don't understand what exactly we are trying to say, because they are so much into the conceptions of body that they think themselves as body, and they cannot take any other view. They don't believe. So these are some people who, even if hear about soul, they don't believe, and they don't understand what exactly is soul. So here also, like, it's way of sarcastically saying that how these such people can exist, because if somebody is studying the Vedas and has a little bit knowledge and intelligence, they can understand that body is pervaded by consciousness from the soul. That's why body is living. But even if you tell this thing to other people, some people, they never understand this. So that itself is surprising, like how people don't believe, how people don't understand this. So this is also surprising. That's why the fourth line is, even if somebody here, they don't understand, how people are engrossed in bodily concepts, they don't understand. So some see, right, this. So at very higher level of spiritual consciousness, when you are almost realizing that you are The we are reading that we are not soul, we are body, and we theoretically understand, and we can experience by other consciousness. But some people who are elevated in their consciousness, they can see the soul. That, that also is very surprising, how anybody can see such a minute particle of soul. But that is requires spiritual qualification. So that is why the first line, Ascharyavat Pashyati, people see the soul. It's amazing. Then when we talk, like we are now discussing about Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, when we hear about the soul from Krishna and his properties and characteristics and how it pervades, that also itself is, when we talk, we also express the amazing qualities of the soul in spite of his size. Right? So it's ashcharya, like how this is all is working. And some people who have little bit faith in Shastra, they hear about the soul. Yeah, there is something like this, which is in the body, and if it is not there, then the body is dead. So there are few people like this. So Krishna is telling so Arjuna that, see, this is the different stages of people who react when they hear about the soul. And from Arjuna's point of view also, if we look at it from overall perspective, the Bhagavad Gita is just beginning. So Arjuna is also hearing everything about the soul. Krishna is instructing everything, but Bhagavad Gita is not finishing here. So still Arjuna has to go inside, and he, even after hearing about this thing, soul and identification, but still Arjuna is not coming out of his uh, ignorance or his identification with the body. So that itself also is very surprising. Like hearing about this from Krishna, how come Arjuna didn't say that, okay, I will fight? Not yet. That is also surprising, right? Such Arjuna is such a elevated, means he's a spiritual Kshatriya, right, who has spiritual knowledge. So this is also surprising, like that. Oh, how come Arjuna is still not, cannot say enlightened, but it's not coming out of his decision to not fight. So when we hear or we see or we read about soul and its effect, everything is very surprising, how this small particle has come from the spiritual realm, and it is pervading the material world through its presence, and is the same quality of particle having same quality in different bodies. And one person is a saintly person, the other person is demonic person, but the soul has basic, has the same qualities. So how come these different types of people, right? So this is also amazing, right? The same quality per particle in different bodies, and everybody behaves differently. So how it is working exactly? So that's why it's everything is ashcharya. But those who have faith in Veda and Shastra, they can believe this by hearing and reading about this. So in next couple of shloks, Krishna will conclude his description about the soul, and we'll see this tomorrow also. Hare Krishna. So anyone wants to share anything or add anything? Okay, Hare Krishna. There was just one clarification. We were discussing few days back about the spiritual spark Srila Prabhupada mentioned, right, in the Brahman after liberation, and when it goes to spiritual world, they have body. So in today's class by Maharaj, Manu Maharaj also, it was mentioned that in the Brahman, there is not exactly the body. The spiritual senses are not there. That's why there is no reciprocation in Brahman. It's just the existence where there is no material miseries, there is no effect of the three modes. That type of existence. That's why Srila Prabhupada has written a spiritual spark in the Brahman. I just wanted to add this because we had already discussed this.
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.